In this lecture, I will explain you finite impulse response filter, FIR filter. H of n is a finite impulse response filter. Finite means the range of values of n are from 0 to capital N minus 1. For example, if we consider capital N is equal to 7, then h of 0, h of 1, h of 2 up to h of 6 are the filter coefficients. This is a sample plot of the h of n filter. If we take the z transform of h of n, then it is h of z. This is called transfer function of a FIR filter. For the same h of n, if we apply the Fourier transform, we will get capital H of e power j omega, that is discrete time Fourier transform. We can express discrete time Fourier transform as magnitude and its corresponding phase. This is called Fourier transform of FIR filter, which will give you the frequency response of the filter. Next, I will explain you about advantages of FIR filter. FIR filters are always stable. FIR filters with exactly linear phase can easily be designed. Linear phase, here in the Fourier transform, magnitude, and here is the phase function theta of omega. Here linear phase is referring to this particular term. Third advantage is FIR filters can be realized in both recursive and non-recursive structures. Excellent design methods are available for various kinds of FIR filters. These are the advantages of FIR filters. There are disadvantages associated with FIR filters. The first one is design of narrow transition band FIR filters are costly. The second disadvantage is execution time and memory requirement are very high. In the next session, I will explain you about linear phase FIR filters. Linear phase FIR filter. Linear phase FIR filter. H of n is an FIR filter, meaning range of n is from 0 less than or equal to n less than or equal to capital N minus 1. For this finite impulse response filter H of n, if we take the Fourier transform, that is h of e power j omega, that h of e power j omega is mathematically expressed as summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n e power minus j omega n. This discrete time Fourier transform is periodic with a period of 2 pi and it is in the range from minus pi to plus pi. This h of e power j omega can be expressed as h of e power j omega is a complex function. We can express it as magnitude and corresponding phase. Here this theta of omega, if we are expecting to have linear phase, for this one first we will define two types of delays. One is phase delay, second one is group delay. Phase delay is tau p, tau subscript p is equal to minus theta of omega by omega, whereas group delay is defined as tau g. Tau g is equal to minus derivative of theta of omega with respect to omega. For FIR filters with linear phase, we can define this phase function theta of omega is equal to minus alpha times omega in the range minus pi to plus pi, where this alpha is a constant phase delay in samples. If you use theta of omega is equal to minus alpha omega in this equation and solve for tau p and use this theta of omega minus alpha of omega in this equation and solve for tau g. You will find that phase delay tau p is exactly equal to group delay tau g is equal to a constant, that is alpha. This alpha, which is nothing but a constant phase delay in samples, if you define phase as theta of omega is equal to minus alpha omega, then phase delay is exactly equal to group delay, and that is alpha, and alpha is independent of frequency omega. Now consider this equation, that is summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n e power minus j omega n is equal to its corresponding magnitude and its phase. Next, express this e power minus j omega n as cos omega n minus j omega n, and if you expand this one, you are going to get summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n into cos omega n minus j sin omega n is equal to, and this one also magnitude and its phase, you expand this phase as cos of theta of omega plus j sin theta of omega. Then in this equation you equate real parts with the real parts of this one, equate complex part of this one left hand side with the complex part of the right hand side. Then you will get two equations. One is summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n cos of omega n is equal to magnitude and cos of theta of omega. Here there is minus, so for when you are equating the imaginary parts, minus will come here. Summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n sin of omega n is equal to magnitude and sin of theta of omega. Next, in the place of this theta of omega, you substitute minus alpha omega that we have defined. Next, take the ratio of, if you assume this as equation 1 and this as equation 2, take the ratio of equation 2 by equation 1. We will get summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n sin omega n by summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n cos omega n is equal to sin alpha of omega by cos alpha of omega. Here the minus sign gets cancelled with minus alpha omega. When you substitute in sin theta of omega, it will be sin minus alpha omega. So sin minus theta is minus sin theta. That minus and this minus gets cancelled, and you will left over with this particular equation. After taking the ratio, we will have this particular equation, that is summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n sin omega n by summation from n is equal to 0 n minus 1 h of n cos omega n is equal to sin alpha of omega by cos alpha of omega. Now you cross multiply these two, you will get summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n sin omega n into cos of alpha omega is equal to summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n cos omega n into sin alpha of omega. You need to cross multiply and equate them. Next, bring this the right hand term to the left hand. You will get summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n into sin omega n cos alpha omega. These two terms are common. I have took the common term, and after this product minus this term cos omega n times sin alpha of omega. Now in the next line, summation from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 h of n, this one you can express as sin a minus b, that is sin alpha minus n in times omega is equal to 0. If the solution for this particular equation is when h of n is exactly equal to h of capital N minus 1 minus n, and the condition is alpha is equal to n minus 1 by 2, that is the impulse response h of n of the FIR filter is symmetrical at alpha is equal to n minus 1 by 2, then that h of n will have linear phase, and the condition is that phase delay and group delay both are constants. For example, if I take n is equal to 7 and if you compare alpha, if you get the value of alpha, 7 minus 1 by 2 is equal to 3. That is, when the number of samples n is odd, alpha value is 3. That is, this h of n is symmetrical about alpha is equal to 3. So this is the line of symmetry. If you observe, the samples 2 and 4 are same, 1 and 5 are same, 0 and 6 are same. That is, when n is odd and alpha value is 3, impulse response h of n is symmetrical about alpha is equal to 3. That is, at the third sample it is symmetrical about the third sample. Next, if I consider n is equal to 6 even, then alpha is equal to 6 minus 1 by 2, that is 5 by 2, it is 2.5 samples. So when the FIR filter is having linear phase, and if you define phase function as minus alpha of omega, and if you take the value of n is equal to 6, then that h of n is symmetrical about alpha is equal to 2.5 samples. This 2.5 occurs between 2 and 3, and this is the line of symmetry. Based on this line, the samples are symmetrical. This completes the explanation of linear phase FIR filters with constant phase and group delay.